This week you will be working on annotation, and you'll be annotating the first few chapters of Shooting Kabul. Annotating means active reading. It means that you're marking up your text with a lot of notes, either directly in the book, in the margins, with highlighters, or with sticky notes, or maybe even with all three methods. So what kind of notes are you taking? On the left side, or maybe a specific color sticky note, you're noting down the summary or the main ideas, vocabulary you don't know, and information about the characters and the setting. On the right side, or a different color sticky note, you'll be noting down your reactions, your opinions, ideas that surprise you and that you can relate to, predictions, and questions. Why annotate? Why do all of this work? First of all, annotations are building blocks for writing. They help you understand what you are reading, because if you don't understand, then you're not going to be able to write meaningful or interesting things in relation to the text. So you have to be able to summarize, get the main ideas, to be able to form your response, which will then make up the thesis and the big ideas of your essays. So I'm going to annotate for you page 1 of Shooting Kabul, just to give you an example. It's a perfect night to run away, thought Fadi, casting a brooding look at the bright sheen of the moon through the cracked backseat window. It reminded him of the first line of the book from the mixed-up files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. Okay, so I'm going to go back and start on the left side with my notes. So it looks like they mentioned Fadi, and I think he must be the main character. I'm going to highlight his name. So Fadi, main character. I assume this because he's the first person mentioned. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's in his voice, right? And it looks like he's running away. He's running away from something. We don't know what yet. And also, he mentions the moon, so I think he's running away at night, and he's running away in a car. The car is cracked, so this makes me think he's in a dangerous situation because the car has a cracked window, and I just get the sense that this is trouble. Maybe he isn't safe. That's what I think. So now I'm going to add a couple of vocabulary words that I don't understand. This word here, sheen and brooding. So I went and looked these up in the dictionary, and brooding means to be thinking deeply or in a depressed state or way. So it seems like he's deep in thought or depressed, and then sheen means shine or luster. So that makes sense that the moon is shining, but he's looking in a brooding way, depressing or thoughtful way. Let's go on. It reminded him of the first line of the book, from the mixed-up files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. So I guess he's comparing his situation to what happens in the book. now he starts mentioning here, Claudia knew that she could never pull off the old-fashioned kind of running away. So because this quote comes after where he mentions this book, I kind of assume that Claudia isn't in this story. I think she's a character in Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. So he's comparing his own situation to Claudia's, and this is interesting to me. First of all, this shows me that Fadi enjoys reading. I can relate because reading is enjoyable for me too. And actually, it's an escape. I can escape the real world through reading. Maybe Fadi can escape too. This is the connection that I'm making here. That maybe he's running away and he's trying to escape, and thinking about this book is an escape from this dangerous situation. So these are just my thoughts. This is me relating my own experience to the experience in the book. So he also mentions the old-fashioned kind of running away. I know old-fashioned means something that happened in the past and not really now. So my question is, I don't really know what that is, old-fashioned running away. So are there different kinds or ways of running away? Fadi's running away in a car. So this is something that we'll just have to keep on exploring and predicting. We're not sure right now. So let's keep going. Fadi was only halfway through the first chapter, so he didn't know how successful Claudia had been in her getaway, old-fashioned or not, but he sure hoped that his family would be. If they were going to be in an awful lot of trouble. If they weren't, they were going to be in an awful lot of trouble. So it looks like he is unsure of what happens to Claudia, but he hopes he and his family get away safely. Now I know that he's running away with his family. And it does look like they're in a dangerous situation, because if they don't get away, they will be in a lot of trouble. So here's my question over here on the right side. What are they running away from? And why? As we talked about when we looked at the cover of the book, we realized that this takes place in Afghanistan, so maybe they are trying to escape the war. So there you have it, the first page. Now it's your turn to annotate. And remember, we love messy books. And the more notes that you take, the more you'll have to discuss the reading and the more that you'll have to write. So good luck.